right, this is section 5.1, polynomial functions. Our objective is to classify polynomials, to graph polynomial functions, and describe their end behavior. One of the first new concepts we have is what is a monomial. And a monomial is a real number, a variable, or a product of a real number, and one or more variables with whole number exponents.
Okay, so some examples of monomials could be like 2x, right? Or you could have 3x squared y, sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay,
Degree of the monomial, one variable exponent, and if you have more than one variable, the sum of the exponents is the degree. Example from Ms. Schenzer.
yep, so if I had something just like one variable, so I had, let's do 5x to the third. My degree of that one is degree 3. That's the exponent of my variable. If I have more than one variable, such as 6x squared y to the fourth, then you add up your exponents on your variables. So my degree of that term would be a degree 6.
Perfect. And then a polynomial, monomial, or the sum of monomials.
So you're just adding terms together.
Yeah, combining terms in, and we'll talk about the order later. The degree of a polynomial, greatest degree among the monomial terms. And the polynomial function, a polynomial with a variable x.
And so generic, it looks something like this. I'm actually going to just go right to an example, I think. So you could have P, my stylus isn't working, sorry. P of x equals 2x to the fourth plus 3x squared minus x plus 7. Here you have, just talking about a few things, you have 4 terms. And our degree would be, it's a degree 4 because our highest degree term is a degree 4. Okay?
Perfect, perfect. Let's talk about classifying, or no, standard form of a polynomial function. Have we done that one?
No, we haven't done that.
All right, so P of x, which stands for the polynomial function, is equal to a...
Should we just, I'm just thinking, I don't have that written, so why don't we, can we just go to that? Like what it, let's go
Sure,
to.
sure.
It arranges terms by degree in descending
Descending
order. So basically all they're saying is just make sure when you're writing them, look at your exponent on your variable. Here I go from x to the fourth term to an x squared term to an x to the first, and then my constants. You want to make sure your exponents go down in descending order.
Right, and the exponents that go with some of the polynomials, as we classify the polynomials, 0 degree would be a constant, degree of 1 would be linear, degree of 2 would be quadratic, cubic is 3, quartic is 4, and quintic would be 5.
Good, so let's just run right into problem 1 then, and using some of the terms we just discussed. So it says write that in standard form. What is a classification of this polynomial by degree and also by its number of terms? So we didn't talk about terms, but I'll go over that with you when we get to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is put it in standard form. My highest degree term is my 4x to the third term. It's a degree 3. So I go 4x cubed. If I had an x squared term, I would do that next, but I don't. Then I'm going to combine like terms. So negative 3x and 7x we can combine and get 4x. And then we're just going to have the minus 3 at the end. So when I classify by the degree of this polynomial is degree 3. And as we said up here in classifying polynomials, we'd call that a cubic function. So it's cubic, and then by number of terms. If I count my terms, I have 1 term, 2 term, 3 term. If you have 3 terms, you have a trinomial. So it's a cubic trinomial. And just to go over by number of terms, we'll write it up here on the top. If you have 1 term, it's a monomial. If you have 2 terms, it's a binomial. If you have 3 terms, it's a trinomial, and then after that, we just go and call them polynomials. So if it's anything more than 3 terms, just you can classify it as a plain old polynomial. So you want to, again, identify the degree, name it based off of the degree, and then by number of terms.
All right, our next new concept would be turning points. Okay, when we graph, it's where the graph changes direction. The polynomial with degree n would have at most n minus 1 turning points.
So let's talk about what that means. If we graph quadratics, and we studied that last chapter, it's a U-shaped graph, okay? So when we say turning directions, here we're going down, and at this point we're going up. So this is considered a turning point right there, okay? And a quadratic is degree 2. So what we're saying is it would have at most 2 minus 1 or 1 turning point, and in that case that's what happens. If you have a polynomial, a cubic function can look like this, okay? And so where are the turning points? Well, here we're going up and then we go down, so we have a turning point right here, and then we have another turning point right here, because then eventually going down up. So this is cubic, which is degree 3. And you can see that it has 3 minus 1 or 2 turning points. So that's kind of what we mean by turning points.
All right, let's define end behavior. The direction of the graph to far left and far right.
Okay, and let's talk about what that means. We're going to look at some visuals, but we're also going to fill out this table below. So it says end behavior of a polynomial function of degree n with leading term a x to the n. And so this talks about moving away from the origin. So here is my xy axis. And what I'm going to do is we're first going to talk about an even degree function. And the most obvious one that we know of, guys, again, is quadratic. So let's think about when a is positive. If I have a quadratic and my leading term is positive, it's going to be a U shape opening up. So end behavior is like what's really happening as we move away from the axis. So if I go to the left, you see I'm going up on that. We're going to go up with our U shape. And if I go to the right, we're also going up. So our end behavior, we say, is up and up. Now, if we had instead my a is negative, what would change here then is we have a U shape going down. So as again I look at going to the left, now I'm going to go down and down. Whether I go to the right or left, eventually this just all heads down. So down and down. So that's with an even degree. Positive up and up because we're opening up. Negative, you go down and down. So tie that always into quadratic. Think of quadratic here. And if you know the end behavior of quadratic, then you know the end behavior of all even degree functions. So as I go to my odd degree, the one I like to tie this into, let's draw another xy axis. I like to just think about the most obvious odd degree, which is a linear function, degree 1. So if a is positive, my slope is positive. So as I go to the left, I'm actually going down. That's my end behavior. And as I go to the right, I'm going up. So the end behavior for odd is down and up. And then if I were to look at a value that is negative, so technically I have a slope going downhill, then my end behavior is up and then down. So for odd behavior, again, if you just think of a linear function, positive slope versus negative slope, you can come up with your end behavior very quickly.
All right, problem number 2. Consider the leading term of y equals 3x to the 4th minus 2x to the 3rd plus x minus 1. What is the end behavior of the graph? Okay, so we know that the highest exponent is 4, so it's degree 4. 4 is even, and a, our leading coefficient there is 3. 3 is greater than 0, meaning obviously that it's positive. So our end behavior is going to be up on the left and up on the right.
Great. So that's not too bad. So always just figure out your degree, look at your leading coefficient, and you should be able to come up with that. Okay, so this next problem is saying what is the graph of this equation and then describe the graph. So the first thing you always want to do is you want to put in standard form. So I'm going to make sure that my exponents go in descending order. And then I'm going to look at what kind of a function I have here. So I have y equals negative 2x cubed plus x plus 3. So notice I have a degree 3, which is odd. And I have a negative leading coefficient. My a equals negative 2, so negative leading coefficient. So again, if I think of tying it into just a linear function, which is another obvious odd degree, if I had a negative leading coefficient, I would go up and then down. That would be my end behavior because I'm sloping downhill. So that's exactly what's going to happen here. The other thing I want to key into is because it's degree 3, I should have, again, 3 minus 1 or 2 turning points. So this gives us information for our graph, okay? And I'm definitely running out of room here. So I'm going to come way over here, and we're going to create a table of values. And initially, we just want you to kind of start plugging in some numbers and looking. So I'm going to put in negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And when I put those in for my x values, I get, for negative 3, we're going to get 54. At negative 2, you get 17. Negative 1, you get 4. 0 is 3, 1, 2, 2, negative 11, and 3, negative 43. You can start to really see your end behavior take place here. Remember, we start up. Well, this is way up at 54, and we end down. We're already plummeting down at negative 43 on when x is 3. So you can't even plot negative 354 on your graph. And negative 217 would be off. So we're at negative 1, 4. Let's plot that. 0, 3, 1, 2, 2, negative 11, and that's even off the graph. So when I start to think of what my end behavior happens, then it's going to go up over here, and then we're gonna plummet down right here. So that's an example of your end behavior. Now, remember we have turning points. There's actually some turning points happening right in here, and we really can't see that with the points we plotted, but you got a turning point in here and a turning point right there. So I'm going to take you to your graphing calculator, and we're going to zoom in to that spot right here and look at our table of values, and you're going to start to see how those turning points show. What I need you to understand right now, though, is really the fact that we're shooting up here, that's your end behavior, and you're shooting down here. So ultimately, end behavior takes over your graph, and you're done plotting. Here I'm actually going to graph it in my graphing calculator. I'm going to show you a little bit of what's happening around those like turning points. So I'm going to switch my window to negative 3 for my x-min and my x-max to 3. And when you graph that, then you're going to be able to see a little bit closer what's happening at those critical points. So we have like a low value, a high value, and you kind of go up and down. Now, if I go to second table, that's going to just show me kind of all of my ordered pairs. And right now, my x values are increasing by 1, and I can kind of scroll through, and here are some points that I can plot. Again, you're seeing it really go to negative 48 at that bottom. I'm going to switch my delta table to 0.5. So I went to second table set and switch that to 0.5. Now you can see my x values are going up by 0.5. And if I click through there, you're going to start to see your values of your x closer to kind of what's happening around those kind of turns. And that might help you a little bit when you're plotting your points. So that's what's going on there. So you can use your graphing calculator to support your learning there. Okay, this next problem, problem 3, what is the degree of the polynomial function that generates the data shown in the table? And what we're going to do is we're going to use differences to determine our degree. So this is probably something different than you've done before, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to first list all of our y values. I'm going to write them down in a row. So these are my y values, negative 13, negative 4, negative 1, 2, 11, 32, and 71. So those are my y values. And now we're going to find what we call our first order difference. First order difference. And what we do then is we just really take the difference between these two numbers. And I go from right to left. So literally I'm finding negative 4 minus a negative 13. So that's negative 4 plus 13, so this is 9. Again, right to left, negative 1 minus a negative 4 is 3. 2 minus a negative 1 is 3. 11 minus 2 is 9. 32 minus 11 is 21. And 71 minus 32 is 39. So that's our first order difference. When we get all of those numbers to go across in that row and be the same number, it's constant, then we know our degree. So it didn't work yet. So we're going to go down to our second order difference, and we're going to keep doing this until we get what we're looking for. So 3 minus 9 is negative 6, 3 minus 3 is 0, 9 minus 3 is 6, 21 minus 9 is 12, 39 minus 21 is 18. That's our second order difference, still not a constant. So now I go to third order difference. And when I do that, you're going to get 0 minus a negative 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Since this is our constant value all the way across, we have a third order difference that's our constant. So since the third order difference is a constant, we know it's a degree 3. If it was a second order difference was the constant, I'd have a degree 2. So that's what we have here. What is the degree? It's degree 3. The other thing I know is because as I go to the left, my y values go down, and I go to the right, they go up. I know it has to be an odd degree because I have a down-up relationship here. And so in general, this is the statement we can make. When the nth order difference is constant, the polynomial is degree n. And so we had our third order difference is constant. I know it's a degree 3. Okay, in retrospect, I want to just go back real quick, and on the front page when we talked about standard form of a polynomial function, I want to actually give a more formal definition because I think in the future this is going to help. And this is how we write it, kind of a generic polynomial function. And don't freak out about it, but what I want you to be aware of is this is basically talking about the degree of your polynomial. So if you had like a degree 5, and I gave an example down here, n would be 5. So we start with 5, and then we go and we take it go down a degree. So I would have x to the 5th, then x to the 4th, and we go all the way down x cubed, x squared, till we get, this should be x to the n. I gotta fix that. I just want x to, we're gonna get rid of this. I don't want the n there, sorry. Get rid of that right here. We're not gonna have that. It's just to x to the 1st. That's what's here. And then we go down to our constant. So that's just showing how we're going down a degree on our x values right here. And then this a sub n in front, this is just showing what our coefficients are. So if I am on my 5th degree, n is 5, my a sub 5 coefficient, or my number in front, is just 6. And then, so those are just representing the coefficients based on which x term you have. So those are representing numbers. And so basically, in future, we'll be talking about that kind of notation more. So hopefully we were able to go over the objective of this section. We learned how to classify polynomials, and we also learned how to graph polynomial as functions and describe end behavior.